All right, let's make use of this time as we're uploading the video. So let's talk about users and organizational units. So I'm doing this on my host computer from the stuff we already did. You can see my DC1 to RODC and SLS. That's me. No, I did an underscore right there. How dare I? All right, well, let's see if I can dyslexia this. Sean. All right. So when we go into Active Directories, users, and computers, you guys should have done this in usertify already, but let's figure out a way that we would actually organize students since your goal is to set up a school. I'm going to drop my AM domain, and I'm going to go over to users. So by default, your users all go right here. You might notice that your Active Directory domain controller is actually an organizational unit. You can see right there, that icon right there. Wow, it's a pretty color. Not. Why is it yellow? Here we go. Try that again. So see that icon right there? That means that's an organizational unit that was created when we made this an Active Directory domain controller on this computer. So that's what made that right there. Right there. It's so cute. All right. So I'm going to clear that. Go back to, I said clear. There we go. Mouse. So first off, we know we're going to have students, right? So let's create a student one. So we can just right click. Now be careful. If you're on that and you right click, it's going to make it inside of that. You also can't delete these right here because these are hard coded into here. But we want to click on here on the actual domain name, and then we can say new organizational unit. Right there. And something you want to make sure, uncheck that protect if you want to be able to move this around and do stuff with it. If you don't do that, you can't move it and you can't delete it. I'm just going to call this students. So what's another level I need to think about besides just students? I'm going to say okay here. So you can see I can also click right here to create organizational units. Well, we're going to focus on students right now. So we have students, but what other categories should I probably break this into? Classes. Where am I putting that? I stuck classes under students. So we're going to figure out how we want to organize this and where there could be a problem. All right, you're saying AM, PM. Oh, I don't do that. I'm going to unmove this protect. All right, do we think this is how we want it? Students, classes, AM, PM. We also need to create the classes, right? So just for fun, let's just go on that one and we'll say A+, because A+ is easy, right? So maybe we want to have the AM, PM. I can highlight them both. I can drag them into classes. Well, I can drag them into right here. Yes, do you want to move it? Yes, I want to move it. Put AM and PM into there. Is that what I want to do? Here, you're going to be in this video, guys. Here we go. You're in the video now. You just don't know it yet. All right, so right now we have the students OU with classes in the students OU with A+ class under classes and PM and AM in A+. So where can I have a problem with this? So let's just say we want network plus. So if A plus and network plus. So if I want to move these students over to the next class and give them the rights of that next class, this is going to be kind of a pain in the butt like this, right? So I'm going to have to go like this. I'm going to have to go like this. Now I'm going to move one. I'm going to say yes. Two. Now they're in network plus. So how about I'm going to move classes out of students. I'm going to move drop classes, and I'm going to put students into the network plus. I'm going to put AM and PM in the students. So now any group policies that are applied to network plus and any permissions, any resources that we've used GPOs to give network plus will be applied to all the students in here. Now, if these students are going to A plus, I just got to drag the whole thing to A plus. And now all those students are now in the A plus and have the rights to the A plus computers. Does that make sense? Now, another thing I might do is I might not want to call it students. I might want to call this like the student's start date, because I'm going to have a group of students in A plus at the same, I have a group of students in network plus at the same time, in Yvonne's class at the same time. They could be a group of 25 students, AM and PM, in all these classes at the same time. So it's going to make it kind of hard for me to keep track of where everyone is. Right. So I could call this like, I'm just calling them January start. I'm going to rename it. Now, what I would do is I'd do Jan start, and maybe I'd also put their graduation date at the end of it, start and graduation date, so I know when they're starting and when they're finishing, right? So just to keep this simple, I'm just going to say start/finish. We don't actually have a date for this stuff, but we could put them in there instead later. For me, this would make it easier for me to manage you guys. Now, remember, when I move you to different organizational units, I can have group policies that gives each one of those organizational units rights to different computers. So in each of these classes, I can also have a computer one too, right? And the computers that are in there will have whatever computer GPOs I have set to give people permission. So say if you're not in that class, you don't have access to go in there, sit down at that computer and use your login anymore because you're not authorized to be in that class anymore. So this is a way admins can take control and manage the whole network from one spot. This is where the majority of your job's going to be if you're going to be doing administration, is living in here, fixing GPOs, group policies, scripting, and trying to make your job easier to manage a lot of people. We can also use these to manage two groups for our WASUS updates, because when you've got a big network, you're going to roll out updates. Like this group of computers gets updates on Monday, this one gets them on Tuesday and Wednesday, and you're going to do them during non-peak hours so you don't accidentally take down the network when people are working. So I would do start finish instead of students on there. So your start date and your graduation date is what I'm thinking for that right there. And again, you don't have to do it this way. This is just the way I would think of doing it. So don't think this is the only way. So something else that I would think about in those classes. So I'm going to go back to A plus right here. I'm going to right click and I'm going to do another. Actually, I'll just click up here. And I'll think computers, because I want to manage computers. So we want to talk about resources too, right? So it's not just the students. It's what resources do they have when they're in there? Maybe there's a special printer in the room, but I don't want everyone to just randomly print when they go to the next class to print in a different instructor's room. Or maybe there's different operating systems or different permissions to Hyper-Vs that we're going to give them. So computers, we can break down computers. We can put a computers group in each room. How about printer? I was talking about printers. Printers are also an object we can manage, right? So once we have printers and stuff, we can manage them in here also. Keep on doing that. I know I can just click right there. So did UCertify tell you how to delete stuff if you forget to uncheck that box? And I'm going to move that to there because I put it inside of it. There we go. So we've got start finish, and this is I should probably put student start finish just so we know what that is right now. We have student start finish, computers. So we know our students, they're going to be moving around. So they're going to be A plus, and now they're going to be a network plus, and we can move them around and give them those permissions. What sucks about this stuff is there's no like right click. We can cut, but we can't copy. So we have to make a new one each time. All right. So say you make one of these. I'm going to say new. Delete me. I didn't even spell that right. Here. Kill me. There we go. And I forgot to uncheck it. So if I go to this and I try to right click and go delete, it's going to say, nope, middle finger. See? You do not have sufficient privileges to delete kill me. Or this object is protected from accidental deletion. One or the other. It doesn't know. It should know that, right? So if I try to go into this and I go to properties, it's not going to show me what I want to see here. So I got 3 options up here: general, managed by, and com. Nothing in here has anything that I can check or uncheck. This is actually hidden under view. So if we go to view, and we go to advanced features right here, you click that, now you see there's more stuff over here. We have NTDS quotas, TPM devices, more stuff showed up in here, a lot more stuff. I'm going to go back into classes. I'm going to go to my A+, and my kill me one. If I right click on that and go to properties, I'm going to have more tabs now. See that? 3 more tabs. This is an object. Remember, computer is an object, the user is an object, your printer is an object, and organizational units are pretty much just folders. So think of objects as files, and folders are what you use to organize them, right? So if I come over here to object, you'll see protect object from accidental deletion. I can uncheck that now, apply, and go OK, and come back to it. Now I can right click and delete it, and it'll be gone forever. Boom, it's gone. And if I don't want to accidentally do stuff, I'll just uncheck advanced features, and now I just have the stuff I want to work with here. So hopefully that helps you guys in case you did that and you made something on accident, or if you spelled it wrong like I always do. That's how you can get in there and delete it. So that's one way to move the stuff around. So as you saw on the demo, people made GPOs where it did a custom login screen. So you can set a GPO to each class so that each class has a different login screen. So you just drag them over when they're logging into a computer, whether they're at home logging into the VPN or logging in locally. If they're using their credentials with the domain, it's going to give them that login screen that you assign to them. So there's a lot of fun you can have in here as you get going, customizing stuff. So this is where all of you can work at the same time. You can say, hey, you're working on class A+, Network Plus, Security Plus. You're setting up GPOs and let us know how you're doing. Or you guys can agree, hey, we want to at least have this same functionality in every class. And then we'll look and see which class needs its own individual stuff that's not applied to every single class. Because remember, we can make one GPO and we can link that GPO to everything. We can individually link it to stuff and only make one GPO. So there's many, many ways we can control stuff. Over the weekend, I would suggest watch some YouTube videos on what policies can I change with GPO, how can I customize Windows with GPOs in server, and just watch them. There's so many ways to do it. There's thousands and thousands of GPOs, and there's also GPOs that you can download and put into the Active Directory, so you can manage Chrome, you can manage Firefox, so you can make it not show, so they can't change internet options on there, they can't change proxies, they can't touch the control panel. Just be careful and make sure you're not disabling stuff for the administrator too. Because if you make it so the administrator can't touch stuff, well, you're going to have to start over, right? So for organizational units, that's how I would do that. And now I'm not going to do all the classes because there's no need for that. But also maybe besides classes, what about onboarding? Like students who are about to start class, I would do one for new students too. I would say onboard. One sec, someone's knocking at my door. Sorry about that. That was my food. All right. So onboarding. So what's onboarding, guys? Are you guys familiar with this term? So like when someone's starting new in a company, they either say it's onboard or inboard. Someone's getting hired, someone's coming in, there's someone that we think can get ready. So we want to pre-make their accounts because we already have their information. So when they start, they're ready to go. So for our case, it'd be students that, prospects, students who've come in that we know, all right, they're going to start on this start date. So we can start getting their start date stuff ready. So in onboarding, we can have like one ready to go in here where it would be, new start. New start / finish. So just like how we were going to do it in the other one where it said the students. So this is where we would pre-make the file like we had for this, where we had student start, finish, student start and grad. Yeah, student start and finish. We do the same thing right here, student start and finish. But they'd be in the onboarding. So let me just type that. Now these can't have the same name, so they don't care about that. So student start and finish, we'd put their student start date and finish date because this is where we're prospective in the future. We expect they're going to start at this start date and finish, and we could start putting users in here, right? So I could put, we're familiar with John Doe, right? John Doe, we've played with him before. We could pre-make his login. AM domain, say next. It's just going to be a regular user. I'll give him his password that he has to change as he logs on. So I now have John Doe in there. He's a regular user. Now, he can't log on to this. He can't log on to a computer with a domain controller. He's just a user. He won't be able to do that. So if they're doing a class where they need to be able to do that, you might want to give them an OU that's been assigned to an administrator group so that when they're in that class, they have administrative rights in that class. But then when they're out of that class, they can't mess with stuff anymore. So these are things that you can plan out and stuff. So besides just doing the foundation of the network, now we're talking about, dealing with the bones and the guts of the system, right? So if we had onboarding, what else do we probably want to think about? And there's more stuff we can put in here, file stuff, management, all kinds of stuff. But I'm just trying to let you guys think, a little bit outside the box here. So if they're coming in, they also need to be coming out, right, guys? Yeah, finishing classes, graduation, right? Finishing, graduation. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to say, I probably spelled it wrong, but forgive me. I put that on onboard and on accident, but I can just drag that out here. And I'll put that in, where did I put the other one? Still put it in classes, onboarding. Yep, that's good. So graduation, so say this group right here, they were done. Now they're graduating. Now they have permission to, like, say, doing the resume stuff, all that fun stuff. And then when they're done, we might want an archive too, right? So classes who are completely done, we probably want an archive. So that's what I kept doing. This way, we also still, in case you come back as a student again, take different classes, or because remember, our classes, you take them all one time, you're welcome to come back and do them again after you've graduated. So if you want a refresher and everything, you can come back and sit into a class and go through it, especially when COVID's over. You can come in and sit in and do a refresher. So I'm going to just say archive or achieve. I'm probably spelling that wrong too, but you know what? Just do what I say, not as I type. So archive, once they're done, our archive, we can have this with GPOs set that anyone in the archive, their accounts are disabled. Now, one thing you never, ever, ever want to do is delete user accounts. You might need that for the FBI later. You might need to get stuff out of their emails. There's all kinds of stuff you might need to do later with that account. So for audits and everything, you never ever delete an account. You disable the accounts, okay? So I have John Doe in this one right here. We have them on onboarding. Now let's say that they were in archive. And I must have protected that from accidental deletion. Something in there, I didn't click on it. Let me go to advanced features, class, onboard. Did I do it on onboard? I did have to do it on that one, right? Yep, right there. I'll just apply that. And now I can drag him over to archive. And now he'll be in archive. Now, I might have a thing like, say, hey, I want my GPOs to automatically, anybody in the archive GPO is disabled. But if you don't know how to do that, you can just come into it, go to properties, and we can disable the account. So we just go to account, and we'll see right here. Let me scroll down. What am I doing here? There it is. Account is disabled. You click on that and hit apply, and now that account cannot be used. So these are simple ways you can do this. Now, something else we also want to think about, though, right? So we got AM, we've got PM. We're working our way up, right? We're working our way from the ground up. AM, PM, the classes they're in. All right. Onboarding, offboarding. What about locations? Now we got to do this twice, right? So we can do, I'm just going to do what we have for our school right now. Clean, which would be you guys. And Austin. Now I put those just inside of each other. So we have Colleen, Austin. So I'm just going to move this all the way up to here. See, now it's going to get big, right? Because both campuses probably do something different. So I have Colleen, Austin. So now I have these all done right here in classes. So I'm going to drop these into our Colleen. Now all that stuff is into Colleen right here, and our classes are right there. But we have different staff in Austin. We have different staff in Colleen. Now we might also take this even deeper, right? Texas. Now I want to put Austin and Colleen in Texas. And it can go even deeper, right? Crazy, right? Hell, we can go one more. We can say North America, right? Yeah. Let's do it. And that's why we don't want to have protected, because that will do that all the time. There we go. So we have North America, USA, Texas, Austin, Colleen. This way, if we have more locations later. Yeah. Now, with that Americas one, doesn't that make everybody in Mexico, South America, Central America, North America Americans? Just saying. Oh, heck, let's do it. Let's do it. You guys said it. Let's do it. Double click classes real quick. Is that what you want to see? So what we're trying to do is figure out how the easiest way to organize stuff and for expansion later. Because, I mean, you could be like, okay, you're in charge of Colleen. Sean, you're in charge of Austin. We can say, Amelia, you're in charge of actually setting group policies for all of Texas. So group policies we set to USA will be to everything. But maybe Texas has different requirements for laws and stuff, right? So then you have to do it right for Texas. And maybe Austin has different laws and stuff that we need to meet for like HIPAA and stuff. And maybe Colleen has different local laws too. You can see how this starts to break down and get very complicated on how to manage all this stuff later. So thinking about it before, you have the benefit of building it from the ground up, which we just did. We started from the classroom and worked our way out and like, oh, maybe we should do this. Oh, maybe we should do that. But that's what's nice about this is we can drag, drop, move, and organize everything. So this is just a basic run now. You know, we have group policies too. You guys have done some group policy stuff. And that's going to be your other wild card is, hey, what can I do with group policies? I want you guys to have fun with it. So now that I have those GPOs, I can go up the tools. And remember, I'm on my host computer here managing everything. That's why I have over here all of these workstations. So you can take these workstations, join your domain with them, and then start managing stuff. These are all capable of managing your servers from these. Once your domain joined, you can do everything I just did. So let me pull this over. I've got your text, your guys' chat thing is actually going to be in this video. So actually, I put that right in the way though. So let me go to tools. It's still in the way. And I'm going to go to group policy management right here. So now that I have this, look, I have my GPOs sitting here. Yeah, it's going to show a black square on you, but in the video, it's going to be in the video. So remember previously I set a WASUS group policy. So when you're doing these, when you're doing like just one change or a group policy that does one thing, just make a new group policy and name it what that one thing is. Right now, this WASUS is applied to the whole domain, the whole forest. It's right here. Actually, that's just the domain. Now, if I put it up here, it'd be for the whole forest. If we had other domains, I could do one right here. But for this whole domain right here, this is WASUS is being applied and default policies are being applied. But I can actually go to like the Americas, now that I have these GPOs, North America, USA, Texas, Colleen. And on Colleen, I could just right click and say create a group policy. And I'm going to just call this, let's say desktop. Now desktop's right there. I can go okay. I'm going to edit this. So you'll find like under users configuration, we can go to policies. We can go to administrative templates. We can go to desktop. Now we can say hide and disable all items on the desktop. Remove the desktop cleanup wizard. All this stuff we can apply. Remove recycle bin icon from the desktop. So heck, we can make just a simple one like that. That one would be very noticeable, right? So if I double click that, this says at least Windows 2003 operating system or Windows XP professional. So at least anything above that, this should work for. So I'm going to hit OK on that, and I'm going to hit apply right here. So for Colleen, there is no recycle bin right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I'm going to come over here. I'm going to go to Colleen. Let me go to a user because I don't think I have a user that's functional now in Colleen, right? So you probably want to create a test user where you can go around and test your group policies as you make them. So let me go back to the Active Directory users and computers. I'll drop down here. I'm just going to go into the Americas, North America, USA, Texas, and Colleen. That'll be applied to here. So I'm just going to right click and I'm going to create a new user. And I'm going to call this test. And I'm just going to put test for the login name also. I'm not going to do must change password. I'm going to do the server 123 @ exclamation point. And I'll just say it never expires for now because I'm just using this for testing purposes. I'm going to hit next and finish. So I'm going to close this now. So anything that I do in that clean for that user that user's in is going to get applied to whatever computer I log in. My computer I'm on right now is technically connected to that. There's a recycle bin right now. Let me do my GPO update really quick. Remember, we made a change, so that was to the server and everything, but this one probably hasn't been updated yet. So I'm going to go to PowerShell, and remember, it's GP update /force, the force everything. Can I just up arrow? Ha! I can up arrow. I cheated. And I'm going to sign out, and I'm going to sign into that test account now. All right. If it worked, no guarantees, because I'm trying to show you guys right now, then I shouldn't have a recycle bin. So I'm going to go sign out. Do my Control-Alt-Delete. Other user, and I'm just going to type test. It's logging in the test now. User profile service is creating everything. And let's see, do we have a recycle bin? Now, if I had an Active Directory installed on this computer, this would not work because test is only a user. And look, there's no recycle bin. So that's how you can do stuff. That looks kind of weird though. The icon's cutting off Google. There we go. So see how that got rid of that? Now we can go back and make subtle changes and test it each time. Each time you make a change, make sure you haven't broke the system. Sometimes it'll do something stupid and break the system. So I think I've given you just enough basic information here to run with and do some research. But there's so many things in there. Play with it. Have fun with it. Figure out what would I do for a school to make it more secure so that the students can do what they need to do, but they don't have more rights than they need to do. You can Google standard GPOs for schools, do a little bit of research, and get together and figure out what you guys want to do. So that this video ain't super long, I'm going to end it right here. But do you have any questions before I do that? Or has this helped explain why we use this stuff now at all? And if you have more questions, just ask them. This is not a torture exercise. This is, hey, we've gone through stuff. I beat you up in Windows 10. I let up a little bit on this and gave you more freedom, and now you have complete freedom on this. The only thing is turn stuff in. So I'm going to turn off my recorder now and upload this one also. The other video has finished uploading. It's going to be right there. It looks like it might. So today's let's build a network. And you, oh my God. All right, well, the low quality one is up. Here you go, and you know what I'm going to do with that. I'm going to put everything where it needs to go. It'll be in your regular stuff. So here you go. I want to send it to Amelia. Here we go. To everybody. And let me kill my recording now. And upload it. Thank you, everybody.